The headmaster. When Mother and Totto-Chan went in, the man in the office got up from his chair. His chair was thin on top and he had a few teeth missing, but his face was a healthy color. Although he wasn't very tall, he had solid shoulders and arms and was neatly dressed in a rather shabby black three-piece suit. With a hasty bow, Totto-Chan asked him spiritedly, "What are you? A schoolmaster or a station master?" Mother was embarrassed, but before she had time to explain, he laughed and replied, "I am the headmaster of this school." Totto-Chan was delighted. "Oh, I'm so glad," she said, "because I want to ask you a favor. I would like to come to your school." The headmaster offered her a chair and turned to Mother. "You may go home now. I want to talk to Totto-Chan." Totto-Chan had a moment's uneasiness, but somehow felt she would get along all right with this man. "Well then, I will leave her with you," Mother said bravely, and shut the door behind her as she went out. The headmaster drew over a chair and put it facing Totto-Chan, and when they were both sitting down close together, he said, "Now then, tell me all about yourself. Tell me anything that all you want to talk about." "Anything I like?" Totto-Chan had expected him to ask questions she would have to answer. When he said she could talk about anything she wanted, she was so happy she began straight away. It was all a bit higgledy-piggledy, but she talked for all she was worth. She told the headmaster how fast the train went that they had come on, how she had asked the ticket collector but he wouldn't let her keep the ticket, how pretty her homeroom teacher was at the school, about the swallow's nest, about her brown dog Rocky, who could do all sorts of tricks, how she used to go snip snip with the scissors inside her mouth at kindergarten, and the teacher said she mustn't do that because she might cut her tongue off. But she did it anyway. How she always blew her nose because Mother scolded her if she was running. What a good swimmer Daddy was, and how he could dive all well. She went on and on. The headmaster would laugh, nod, and say, "And then?" And Totto-Chan was so happy she kept right on talking. But finally she ran out of things to say. She sat with her mouth closed, trying hard to think of something. "Haven't you anything more you can tell me?" asked the headmaster. What a shame to stop now, Totto-Chan thought. It was such a wonderful chance. Wasn't there anything else she could talk about? She wondered, racking her brains. Then she had an idea. She could tell him about the dress she was wearing that day. Mother made most of her dresses, but this one came from a shop. Her clothes were always torn when she came home in the late afternoon. Some of the rips were quite bad. Mother never knew how they got that way. Even her white cotton panties were sometimes in shreds. She explained to the headmaster that they got torn when she crossed other people's gardens by crawling under their fences, and when she burrowed under the barbed wire around vacant lots. "So this morning," she said when she was getting dressed to come here, "all the nice dresses Mother had made were torn, so she had to wear one Mother had bought. It had small dark red and grey checks and was made of jersey. And it wasn't bad, but Mother thought the red flowers embroidered on the collar were in bad taste." "Mother doesn't like the collar," said Totto-Chan, holding it up for the master to see. After that, she could think of nothing more to say on no matter how hard she tried. It made her rather sad. But just then the headmaster got up, placed his large warm hand on her head, and said, "Well, now you're a pupil of this school." Those were his very words. And at that moment, Toto-chan felt she had met someone she really liked for the very first time in her life. You see, up till then, no one had ever listened to her for so long. And all that time, the headmaster had yawned once or looked bored. Hadn't yawned once or looked bored, but seemed just as interested in what she had to say as she was. Toto-chan hadn't learned how to tell time yet, but it did seem like a rather long time. If she had been able to, she would have been astonished and even more grateful to the headmaster. For, you see, Mother and Toto-chan arrived at the school at 8, and when she finished talking and the headmaster had told her she was a pupil of the school, he looked at his pocket watch and said, "Ah, it's time for lunch." So the headmaster must have listened to Toto-chan for 4 solid hours. Neither before nor since did any grown-up to Toto-chan for as long as that. Neither before nor since did any grown-up listen to Toto-chan for as long as that. And besides, it would have amazed Mother and her homeroom teacher to think that a 7-year-old child could find enough to talk about for 4 hours non-stop. Toto-chan had no idea then, of course, that she had been expelled and that people were at their wits' end to know what to do. Having a naturally sunny disposition and being a bit absent-minded gave her an air of innocence. But deep down she felt she was considered different from other children and slightly strange. The headmaster, however, made her feel safe and warm and happy. She wanted to stay with him forever. That's how Toto-chan felt about the headmaster, Sosaku Kobayashi, that first day. And luckily, the headmaster felt the same about her.